This is the Castleberg house in the town of Castrich, right next to the post office there. This house is actually owned by the city. It's been renovated as a historical monument. That was done in the last 10-15 years. The building is divided up into, I believe, 3 or 4 apartments. The apartment in this corner of the building is kept empty by the city and used for legal ceremonies, marriage ceremonies or what have you. The other apartments are rented out to families. This would have been the entryway to the house. This house was built back in 1400s, 1500s, and would have been inhabited probably at the same time as the Castleberg Castle, and then when the Castleberg Castle was abandoned, this would have been where the Castlebergs would have all been living. A very nice gentleman who lives in one of the apartments allowed me to come inside and take a little bit of tape. This is an original wall with original timbers. It's one of the gentleman's sons. And the gentleman told me that the room we're about to go into is completely original. All the woodworking that you'll see here was part of the original Castleberg house. There's a gentleman there with his youngest daughter. He was very kind. I spoke to him in my broken German, letting him know that I was researching family history. There's some of that paneling. The roofs, I was very surprised at the fact that the ceilings of the rooms were woodworked, as you see there. All original paneling all the way along. This stove, I think, may be new. The door there, original. And one of the things that I found most fascinating about the apartment was this cabinet here. One of the interesting things that you'll see even in Switzerland today is the way they have their stoves set up. This is the stove outside the other Castleberg apartment. The opening for the stove, as far as stoking it or cleaning out the ashes, is on the outside of the room, just inside the door. So you'd come inside the door, you could stoke the stove, that's where you'd stack all your wood, and then as you go around into the main area, the living room or the kitchen, you would have the main body of the stove, but you wouldn't be feeding it from there. Here's some more of that original woodworking on the walls, paneling. And window seats. All original. It's just amazing. It's fantastic to stand in that room and just look around. And to think that, if you go there, you just go to the city office and ask them to let you in and take a look at it. It's very easy to access this room in particular. And this room also has one of those original cabinets you can take a look at. I'm not sure quite what the purpose of this was, but it's a little alcove out in the entryway. Guess it's just set there for decoration. And there I am. The gentleman from the city was kind enough to take a little video of me. Although it's so dark you can hardly really see me. That window right there is the window that I was just sitting in. And those stairs there were the ones that went up to the door that led into that apartment. So take a closer look here. You can see the original timbers. They have re-whitewashed and plastered the outside of this wall, but this is probably what the Castleberg castles and the Oberkassel castle would have looked like from the outside. You saw a very deep, narrow window there, again similar to the other castles, because the walls on this were also very thick. Now, from what I can tell, they have decorated or renovated the different parts of this house in different styles, so that on the left there you see the plaster, whereas to the right of the doorway, as you can see, it's a very different style. My guess is the left would have been more original, and on the right would have been typical of later centuries. Here we see the back of the Castleberg house. Shot of that there. The hills, mountains surrounding the town. A little bit of the houses here in Castrich. Back up that way would have been where the Castleberg castle was, somewhere up on one of those slopes. And up this valley, the valley of the Rhine, is where Disentis is. There's a large monastery in Disentis, and that is where the Catholic Castlebergs moved at the time of the Reformation. And from that base, many of the Catholic Castlebergs were very involved in the army and in politics.